Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into the future, going all the way to 2044. Well, not literally, of course. We're going to be dissecting this article that paints a pretty, well, intense picture of a future where surveillance tech is, like, everywhere. Cameras, AI that practically reads your mind, the whole shebang.
It really makes you think about what privacy even means in a world where everything is recorded and analyzed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, right when I started reading this article, this quote just jumped out at me. When it comes to privacy and accountability, people always demand the former for themselves and the latter for everyone else. David Brin, the sci-fi author, said that. And, I mean, he's not wrong, is he?
It's like the ultimate hypocrisy, the privacy paradox in action. We see it every day.
Yeah.
Like, think about those neighborhood watch apps. People love those things, but it's like, are you really okay with your neighbor knowing every time you walk your dog?
Okay, I'll admit I've been tempted by those apps. But, it's all about safety and security, right? At least that's what we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
But where do we draw the line? When does looking out for number one turn into, like, a full-blown privacy invasion for everyone else?
And that's the slippery slope this article takes us on. It fast forwards to this future, 2044, where you walk down the street and boom, your entire Amazon order history is just like floating above your head for anyone with AR glasses to see.
Talk about awkward. Oh, hey, didn't know you were such a fan of those adult diapers.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This article goes deep on constant surveillance, like cameras everywhere, facial recognition as your ID, even stores refusing service if you're not like plugged into this hyper-connected life.
So much for grabbing a late-night snack without the world knowing, huh? But really, this article makes 2044 feel weirdly real, and it leaves you wondering, are we heading towards a utopia where everything is effortless and convenient? Or is this going to be a dystopia where we're, like, constantly exposed all the time?
Well, what's really crazy is that this future doesn't feel that far off. I mean, think about how much of our lives are already online. Every time you click accept all cookies, it's like we're practically handing over our digital DNA.
It's like we're handing over the blueprints to our lives, and we don't even know who's got them, right? And this is where AI comes in. This article really digs into how AI could be like this huge turning point for privacy. For better or for worse, it's hard to say.
Yeah, AI is like the wild card here. It could be the hero or the villain of our privacy story. And what's really interesting is it could be both at the same time. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
Okay, that does make it sound a little less black and white than I thought.
Yeah.
But how so? How could it be both?
Well, picture this. You're in the background of someone's photo, right? Totally random. But their AI, it automatically blurs your face before they even post it online. That's AI protecting your privacy without you even knowing.
Kind of cool, right? Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I like that kind of AI. But then there's the flip side. What's stopping someone from using AI to, like, dig up dirt on their ex?
Yeah.
Or stalk their crush?
Exactly. And the article even talks about some apps that are already out there. Apparently, they can predict things like infidelity and with like scary accuracy just by looking at the data we're already sharing.
No way. That's insane. So all those embarrassing Google searches, all my late-night online shopping sprees,
Yeah.
it's all just data points for some algorithm to analyze.
Pretty much. It can be pretty unnerving when you think about it. Your texts, the stuff you post, even just like your online shopping habits, it's all fuel for these algorithms that are claiming to know more about us than we know about ourselves.
All right, that's officially more than a little creepy. And it makes you wonder, if this is what AI can do now, what happens when it's got even more information to work with? Like in that super surveilled world of 2044 that the article talks about.
Now we're getting into some real Black Mirror territory. I mean, imagine AI predicting who's likely to commit a crime before it even happens. Or, like, judging your credit score based on your perceived emotional state.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not the AI I signed up for. That's getting into, like, some serious ethical territory. It's like that saying, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should.
Totally. And that's exactly the point the article's trying to make. We need to be having these conversations now, like right now, before it's too late and this stuff is totally out of control.
So before AI has access to, like, literally everything about us and is making all these decisions about our lives, yeah, that makes sense.
Because once that genie's out of the bottle, it's going to be pretty hard to put it back in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, okay, so how do we do that? How do we, like, find that balance where we get the good parts of all this amazing technology without sacrificing our privacy and, like, our freedom?
It's a tough one, no doubt. But the article makes a good point. It all boils down to control. Who has control over our information, and what are they doing with it?
So we need to make sure we're the ones in the driver's seat, right? Not just like letting these algorithms run wild with our data and basically decide our future for us. I mean, that's some real sci-fi nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, and honestly, it's already happening in like sneaky little ways. Think about those ads, the ones that seem to know exactly what you were just looking at online, even if it's kind of embarrassing. Or those apps, the ones that track your location, even when you've told them to. Like, back off.
Hmm.
We're getting so used to this constant data collection that we don't even realize what it could all add up to.
It's true. We've heard it a million times. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. But now it's like even when you are paying, they're still finding ways to cash in on your data. So what can we actually do about it? This article seems to say that laws and stuff aren't really enough.
Yeah, the article makes a good point about that. Like, we can't just expect the government to swoop in and save the day. This is bigger than that. It's going to take all of us, like a collective wake-up call, changing how we think about our own data and how precious it actually is.
Okay, so like being more careful about what we share, actually reading those privacy settings for once, maybe saying no to those cookies every now and then.
Exactly. Think of it this way. You wouldn't just give anyone the keys to your house, right? Our digital lives, all our information, it's valuable too. We got to protect it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it feels like we're up against like this tidal wave of technology. Can we actually push back against that?
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, the article doesn't really have any easy answers. But it does leave us with this like thought-provoking question. If privacy, as we know it, is basically going extinct, what becomes truly valuable in a world where all our secrets are out in the open?
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot to unpack. Does it change what we value? Like, does authenticity become even more important? Because everyone knows, like, everything about us anyway.
It's wild, right? Makes you think. But maybe in a world without secrets, it's those real connections, the trust we build with each other that become the most precious thing.
It's like the things that technology can't replicate or take away from us, the human stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's a good place to leave it for today. The future of privacy, it's not just about technology, right? It's about us, about what kind of world we want to live in and what we're willing to, fight for.
It's about the choices we make every day, every time we click, every time we download, every time we blindly hit agree without even reading the fine print. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but the conversation doesn't have to end here. What do you think? What will you value most in a world without secrets? Let us know.